The decision making section is unique to that, and unfortunately most of the time people confuse it with reading comprehension, think that you need to just read the passage and give the answer based on some common sense. No, that is not the way it is. Any kind of decision requires a criteria. On what basis are you taking the decision? And if you cannot identify the criteria while reading the passage or looking at the questions, then you will be in a soup. So when you're doing the decision making section, please remember your job is to read the data or the case given to you and try to infer the decision criteria in it. And if you're not able to do it, no problem there, because many a time the question will also give you a decision criteria. So based on that decision criteria is what you have to take the decision. So the most important thing is, what is the criteria for decision? For example, I have to maximize profits. I have to reduce my costs. There's a typically kind of a decision which you're required to take in a business scenario. There would be other scenarios also which you need to look at. But the most important thing, again I'm repeating, is identify the decision criteria and take a decision based on that. Second thing, please remember, of late, most of the time I find students going for the most ethical option. It might be the most ethical option, but please remember, the decision criteria might be something different. For example, the decision criteria might be what action will be the most harmful to a person. There I'm not going to look at the decision at the most ethical option. So ethics, yes, ethical options are usually the right answer, but in a given context. So which is why I would say, please look at the decision criteria, and based on that you look at getting the answer. The next thing is, how much time should you spend on this section? I would say when you look at each of these passages, these are not very lengthy passages, and hence reading them will not take you too much time. So maybe about 3 odd minutes is what will be sufficient to read the passage. Okay, and each of these passages typically has 3 questions. So that for the last few years have been given us 7 case studies with 3 questions each. So if you look at each of these passages, they'll take you about 3 to 4 minutes to read and another 3 to 4 minutes to answer the question. So about 6 minutes to read and answer one passage. So 7, 6 are 42, maybe 45 minutes. On the higher side, you can go to about 50 minutes. So my suggestion will be, restrict this particular section to something between 45 to 50 minutes and keep your focus on decision criteria. Finally, please remember, whatever I might say, whatever anyone might say, there's certain amount of subjectivity involved in these answers. And hence, you need to be backing yourself. Based on your criteria, what you have understood, just mark the answer and move on. And don't look for 100% accuracy, but it will not happen. If you are able to get 16, 17, 18 right out of 21 questions, you have done a terrific job of the paper. The sectional cutoff is usually a single date number. And hence, if you are around double dates, you are very, very safe.